Okay, it's time to get started. I'll call this special meeting of the City Transit Trust to order. Please call the roll.
Hankins. Harris. Chapman. Gill. Hampton. Uyghur. Johnson. Warren.
Quorum is established. Old business, item number 1. Consider allowing HTG Lawton Management LLC and LATS to use the City of Lawton Transit Trust as the first named insured for LATS liability insurance. Ryan.
Good afternoon, Mayor and trustees. So as discussed about a week ago, basically what this will actually do is allow the trust to be a first insured. So this would allow us to be a little bit more competitive in the insurance market. And the other point to this is that it would actually allow the city to basically be protected under the tort statute for the transit system.
Okay, do you have questions, council?
I do.
Yes.
Legal was going to look into that and give us a report, so I think we need to hear that report.
Okay, so thank you, Councilman Gill. So yes, legal did meet with Mr. Landers, and he had a representative from Insurica in the meeting also. Really, it does nothing for it doesn't change the trust liability. The trust is under the Governmental Tort Claims Act right now. This will still be under the Governmental Tort Claims Act with the same limits of liability. So it does not affect the liability or give the trust any additional liability. It's just basically a mechanism to allow our insurance broker to attempt to get the best rates possible for the authority.
Are you good?
Thank you.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we go ahead with this.
Okay, motion for approval. Is there a second? Do we have a second? Discussion or debate? Please vote.
That was pretty generic, wasn't it?
Motion carries 7-0. 8-0. Brings up new business. Item number 2, consider accepting the recommendation and approving the contract from TripSpark Technologies for a fixed route technology ecosystem and paratransit and demand response software suite for the Lawton area transit system, and allow the general manager to execute the 5-year contract for their software and services. Ryan.
Thank you. So this next item is actually an item that we're pretty excited about. We've done a lot of research on this technology. One of the unique things with this technology is that it will actually support every one of our services that we're currently doing, as well as any new services that we actually will start, microtransit, more on-demand type of things. I had a couple of slides here just to kind of show you what some of the layout would actually be. I'll get to that really quick. This is kind of our fixed route service, kind of what the dispatching layout would look like, what the app for our fixed route service would be, to where you can plan your trip from the start to the finish. Again, some more information on the app base where you get up-to-date news, some other dispatching screenshots, a screenshot of what the app would kind of look like on tracking your bus, those type of things. And some of the, so this is more of a dynamic type of system than what we're currently using right now. It'll actually give us more information, more data to be able to run our system much more efficiently. And at the bottom here, this is kind of a new, more rugged type of tablet, I guess, that we would have, or mobile data terminal on any of one of our buses. And let's see. Again, some more screenshots of what the app would actually look like. One of the additional things that we would have on the app is any type of service disruptions, like road closures, those type of things, would automatically get to the passenger, would automatically update, and it's all done through our dispatch portion. Screenshots of what that would actually look like, planning your trip a little bit. Now that's the fixed route side. This is our paratransit, on-demand, and microtransit. This is kind of the layout of what, again, dispatching internally, what we would end up doing. One of the new unique things that we're going to get with this technology is notifications to the public. So when they actually schedule a trip, when the driver's approaching, getting text messages, email messages, phone calls to get them more up to date. That way we can kind of make it a much more efficient service, but to help out the passenger a little bit more. That way they know, hey, this is what's going on. There's also a customer portal to where they can actually book their trips in bulk, or they can, book them a month in advance. It's a very seamless system, asking for basic information. You can pay for your fare on this online portal as well, so you don't have to carry cash around. And then this is actually one of the unique things getting into our next presentation that we're actually going to do, and this is what's called Trips on Demand. And Trips on Demand is a mobile device to where, again, kind of similar to what Uber and Lyft would actually be, to where you can plan your trip, schedule your trip, everything that you actually need to do. And I actually just got a demo of the whole thing yesterday, and it works seamlessly, actually better than what Uber and Lyft actually do. And one of the cool things that we love about this technology is that in 2024, instead of having multiple apps to do the entire service, they are actually going to have a one-app solution. So everything functions on one app where you can plan your trip for fixed route, paratransit, on demand, everything in one seamless operation. And so, again, we're very excited about this. They are very excited to become a partner with the City of Lawton, and we're intrigued to start. So.
Council, do you have questions?
Yes, Mayor. It sounds pretty exciting. Ryan, so you have this software that you'll have internally at your administrative office, and then from that you have a portal that the riders can connect to that provides all this information and extra services?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And this is an upgrade from what you have now?
This upgrade is about 10 times more than what we currently have. This
Okay,
is,
and then with that said, so that the passenger can plan his trip, and the bus driver knows that they're going to be there. So you have a count of, and the bus driver's going to have that information also as well.
So that you're talking the trips on demand part where they
Yes,
can
yes,
schedule a
yeah.
trip. Yes. So how it actually functions is exactly how Uber Lyft type of thing would work, where you would type in, here's my destination, and I'll get into more details about how we're dealing with the microtransit aspect of it. But you would plan a trip like, here's where I want to go, here's the time, and it's supposed to be, in 10 minutes, like, hey, this is where I want to go now, rather than, and you can plan out a day or a couple of days in advance, but
Yeah.
the idea is that it's a seamless operation to provide more transportation to the general
So
public.
as a bus driver is going down, I know they can put their hand out anywhere and they stop. So the bus driver will kind of know that there's somebody that he's going to pick up on his route or be looking for them. Since they do stop in other places
Yeah.
besides the bus stop, right?
So what you're talking about is our fixed route service. This would be a different service, the more on-demand type
really?
of service,
Okay.
yeah. And the fixed route service, you would actually get more information than what we currently have, to where, again, you can plan your trip on your app. I'm sure if anyone's ever used Google Maps, you can kind of show, hey, I need to take this turn to get to the bus stop. This now you can actually have on the app itself and plan your trip. And as I mentioned, next year when we have a one-app solution, you can go from on-demand or microtransit to fixed route and then back to in just one seamless operation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Ms. Chapman?
Ryan, on the on-demand, are we talking about smaller vans or minivans or minibuses, or exactly what?
So that's actually part of the discussion that we're going to have here as soon as we're done, because it really, there's a lot that goes into it, but yeah. Okay. Sorry.
If there are no further questions, do we have a motion for approval? Motion for approval, do we have a second? We do have a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote. Motion carries 8-0. Bringing up item number 3, receive a presentation for introducing microtransit availability within Lawton and Fort Sill and take action as necessary. Ryan?
Okay. Again, small presentation just to kind of get everyone kind of up to the same understanding. Oh, nice to meet you. Ryan. You don't have to stop.
We'll go ahead,
No,
and
you're
we'll go
good.
ahead and let you finish
Okay.
talking, and then the sergeant major wants to speak.
So a couple of weeks ago, when the mayor had to kind of approach me to kind of talk about what type of services we could offer onto Fort Sill, one of the unique things that we thought about is, okay, well, this would kind of be more of an after-hours type of program. We kind of took a stab of what we could call the program a little bit. And so what I want to kind of talk about is what microtransit is. And typically, what I guess a simplified version of it is it's similar to how Uber Lyft type works. But instead of that, you actually operate in what's called different zones. So if you're in zone 1, this is where you're actually going to, and in zone 2, this is kind of where you're going to. And some of that, we have to do a little bit more research as to, hey, where are the soldiers going off base or on base, and vice versa. And so these are some of the things that we'll have to do some more research on. And as I mentioned, part of the software that y'all just approved, it's what's called Rides on Demand. And so what this app will actually do is, again, similar to Uber Lyft, you type in your destination, where you're at, and then you would have a ride within 10, 15 minutes. It would get you to your destination and then back. A very seamless operation. Like I mentioned, I tested out the demo yesterday, and I personally like it. This is kind of an example of what the zones could actually look like. This is not in any way, shape, or form a final type of structure of what it would look like, but this is kind of what we had in mind of what this could do. So some of the operational needs that we know we have to do some research, what we need to do the operation. Obviously, we need to see what type of vehicles we're going to use. So ideally, in a microtransit type of setting, you want to use some smaller vehicles. It's a lot easier to kind of get to point A to B rather than your larger vehicles. They don't necessarily have to be ADA accessible, but in order to use federal funds to purchase these type of vehicles, they have to be ADA accessible. And so you're looking at a higher cost. The other option that was presented is, could we use our current fleet? The easy answer to that is yes, but it's more complicated. Our current fleet is older, and our current fleet actually is probably in the process of needing to be replaced anyway. And so the more strain you do, which is probably going to be an additional 7-8 hours more on those type of vehicles, will have strain on our current operation. But again, this is all part of the research that we would have to do to kind of figure out, okay, what's the best strategy? How many vehicles do we need to do? Do we get used vehicles? Do we get newer vehicles? What type of vehicles? Do we get alternative fuel vehicles? So there's a number of questions that we have to get to the bottom of with vehicles. Basic operation is that you need operators to obviously drive the vehicles. We don't believe we'll need a dispatcher because you can probably do the job pretty much with one supervisor on duty. And again, the unique thing with the software is you don't really have to manage the software because it's just it's automatic. It knows exactly what you can do with the vehicles that you currently have. So if you say you only have 6 vehicles, it's not going to allow you to book 8. And so it's just a very seamless operation. And then the mechanic on duty, it just depends on, again, how many vehicles you're actually using. Sometimes you could probably just get away with an on-call mechanic type of thing to save cost. So that's just kind of on the surface, some of the things that we have to look at: benefits, uniforms, insurance, those type of things. And so what we wanted to kind of look at was that if we were going to do kind of like a test type of thing, we were kind of thinking a Thursday through Saturday type of service from about 8 p.m. till about 3 a.m., about 7 hours of service. Typically, from my understanding, is that the bars close about 2 a.m. That leaves about an hour to get everyone back home to where they need to go, and then about an hour cleaning, fueling, those type of things, and finish up service. Ironically enough, our current service Monday through Friday starts at 6 o'clock, so it could just be a kind of seamless flow to that. Right now, our initial thought is that, again, once we get approval to actually go forward this month, is that we would need at least a couple of months to do research to figure out where the soldiers are actually wanting to go off-site, where, what times they're wanting to go, what days they're wanting to go. And that can be done through survey process and everything. But we have I feel very confident that March, April of next year, we can have this service up and running. Unless we kind of get some delays in, if we're acquiring vehicles or those type of things. I'm not worried about finding people to actually do the service. I think you can get people to drive at night and those type of things. And obviously, we would have to market this to make sure that we actually have a good influx of people that are going to use the service. So this is, again, kind of an initial first thought of what we actually think we can do. Again, I think there's more research that needs to be done, but this can absolutely be done in-house. I would be excited to do this. I do know that our current software provider wants to be a huge partner in this, and they're excited to speed this process up along as much as humanly possible to get this going. We're excited to initiate the service. So other than that, if you have any questions.
Thank you, Ryan. That was a good presentation. We will have some questions, so don't run too far. I'd like to make some introductions. First of all, Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Threlkeld is here with us today. Also, Garrison Command Sergeant Major Pearson, just got him in place this week. And then we have the Command Sergeant Major of the Fire Center of Excellence of Fort Sill, Sergeant Major Sartain. Let's give them a round of applause for being here with us today. And Sergeant Major Sartain, if you would like to approach the microphone.
Mr. Mayor, council members, thanks for the opportunity today. Really appreciate this. It's always a special time to come in and get engaged and to speak with each of y'all. This is something that's extremely important to us. I would venture to say it's something we need. I've been here since January, and from January until now, I've got soldiers and family members that voice to me their concerns about transportation options, especially during certain times of the evening. Taxis are almost impossible to get sometimes for our soldiers and family members, and Uber after certain times is pretty much impossible to get as well. So this is something that's really important to us, and the reason why is because we still have, unfortunately, some teammates who kind of make some poor decisions sometimes, and they back themselves into a corner where they need some help, and this is a lifeline for them, in our opinion, and it's something that it could really help our team. We really appreciate Mr. Mayor, you and the council considering this, and if I was to endorse it, I would strongly endorse it, and we'd appreciate it if we could get this thing pushed across the finish line. It would really be helpful for us. If I could do one more thing, Mr. Mayor. So everyone knows the past 10 days, 14 days has been extremely busy for Fort Sill, and we had some great community partners that helped us as we were doing some things. We had to push some teammates into another area of operations. So Major General Brooks and myself, we wanted to make sure we came up today and specifically thanked some community partners for their assistance and their help. We couldn't have done it without them, and especially the folks down at the airport. We really could not have done what we did over the past 10, 14 days without their assistance and their help. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for coming as well. How does that timeline work for you, Sergeant Major?
If we could get it tomorrow, that would be best.
So what, you'd really like to see them trim 30 days off of that timetable? And
30 would be amazing. I will venture to say, right now we're relying on a lot of volunteers. And sometimes volunteers, they're a little hard to come by because they've got lives and they got things that are going on as well. So, the quicker that we could get this thing in motion, the better it would be for Fort Sill and the more helpful it would be for us. Because like I said, this is a lifeline for some of our folks who just unfortunately are making bad decisions.
Wonderful. Ryan, you think you could trim 30 days off of that and make it happen? And how would that affect the use of federal funds to make all this happen?
So I think the easy answer to this is as soon as the app's developed, that's one less thing that we would have to worry about. I think figuring out the vehicle issue is the next thing on that. I think I can provide the city manager and y'all, you know, an update probably within 30 days to let you know, hey, here's our progress. I do know I already had a pre-kickoff meeting with TripSpark this morning, and so we've already started the ball going. We're trying to get everything done a lot sooner than projected. I would love to get it a lot sooner than later. And I think I could probably have a really good update probably in about 30 days. Yeah.
We go back to that time frame real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think you can get this going by March 1?
I think we originally had the presentation for March 1, a February-March timeframe. We just weren't sure on the app or anything. But I think if things go in the right way, I feel confident that we can get it done.
Okay, so let's do this. Can I get a motion to give direction to complete this by March 1 and bring an update in 30 days?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? We have a second. Discussion or debate. Please vote. Need one more. Oh, okay. All right. Well, the motion carries 7-0. So, Sergeant Major, it looks like we're cooking with peanut oil. Okay? Thank you. Thank you guys for coming. All right. Do I have a motion for adjournment? So, a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Hampton. Uyghur. Johnson. Warren. Hankins. Harris. Chapman. Gill.
Yes. I want to see the cost to the citizen.
Hey, Ryan, when you bring that back in 30 days, what's the cost to the city? Is going to be important, okay? And we're already out of that meeting, so you can't address it. But, okay, and you can go ahead and get that information to the clerk, and the clerk can disseminate it, but when you bring your motion. Okay, at this time, I will call the regularly scheduled meeting of the Lawton City Council to order. Please stand. Hold on a minute, I lost my notes. Please stand for the invocation by Comanche Chairman Mark Wimavoya, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance by the Comanche Youth. Chairman. Amen. And there might have been some do we have the Comanche youth? Okay. Are they're going to do it when they do the whole thing? Okay. Okay. So you may be seated. We've got one item of business before we do the pledge and the presentation. Little change today, but it'll work out. And we've got some timing issues with the FISTA. Thank you, guys. We love Fort Sill, and we appreciate you guys. FISTA's got a timing problem, and so we need to take care of item 14 first.
Mayor, can we please call roll first?
Oh, yeah, we better do that. Call the roll.
Hankins. Harris. Chapman. Gill. Hampton. Uyghur. Johnson. Warren.
And a quorum is established. Item number 14, subject to FISTA approving an amended budget and the proposed amended support agreement, consider approving the First Amendment to the Limited Services Agreement between Fires Innovation Science and Technology Accelerator Development Trust Authority, FISTA, and the City of Lawton for FY 23-24, including any floor amendments that may be made thereto, to incorporate A, $36,620.02 for repairs to Central Mall, also known as Central Plaza, for storm damage. B, $257,250 for property insurance premiums for Central Plaza, and C, $1 million financial incentive to support a collaboration agreement between R4 Technologies, Inc. and the Vista Innovation Park, wherein artificial intelligence, AI, will be utilized for workforce and supply chain development and to drive economic growth. Who's speaking on this?
I got it.
Krista?
And I'll start off, Mayor.
Oh, the attorney.
So, thank you, Mayor. So last week, the council considered this item, and it was passed with a floor amendment. Originally, as proposed, it was, since it's a support agreement, we were going to do $500,000 for economic assistance in this fiscal year and $500,000 next fiscal year. So council did a floor amendment to authorize the full $1 million in this fiscal year, and then to direct also in the floor amendment that we add language requiring a quarterly report that Vista provide to the city regarding this money. So this, what I've basically done is we rewrote a section of the agreement, which is here for you to look at. It does give the $1 million to Vista up front. It also requires them to submit a quarterly written report to the city on how the funds are being used, the numbers of jobs created, and also the salary for each job, and also to verify in the report whether R4 is performing their obligations under their agreement with Vista, and in the case if they don't, to cease making any further payments of that $1 million until they are back in compliance. It also includes language that the Vista, since they're getting the money up front rather than a reimbursement of the $1 million, that they agreed to only expend the money of the $1 million toward the 4 separate payments to R4 that's authorized in the agreement between Vista and the R4. And in the event that any of the funds are not spent, that they be returned to the city. So we put some safeguards into the agreement. And we asked this item be first because Vista was considering this at their 3:15 meeting today.
Council, do you have any questions for the attorney? Do you have any questions for Krista? If there are none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion for approval and a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote. Motion carries 8-0. Thank you. Now we go back to presentations, and at this time, we will have a presentation by the Comanche Youth. Would you please stand for the presentation of colors?
Ay, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen.
Papita koya sama ekabona, samado paita mador kores kato sabona. Ora toda sabona.
Mr. Chairman, why don't you come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll start the presentation, okay? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and now we will have a proclamation, Native American Heritage Month. So if you'll join me down front. Let's give them a big round of applause. So, Mr. Chairman, we got this proclamation, but I'm wondering if we could get all of them back down here to the front. Hey, didn't they do a great job? Let's give them another big round of applause. It's absolutely awesome. And did we have some, Miss Alberta, did we have some kids from MacArthur here? Is this? Yes, they are. Okay, let's get the kids from MacArthur down as well. They're always here when we do our cultural presentations. Okay, and the Native American heritage of our area is very important to us, and we're proud to do this proclamation. Whereas our nation's history and culture have been significantly influenced by Native Americans and indigenous peoples, enhancing America's freedom, prosperity, and greatness. Their customs and traditions are celebrated as a rich legacy throughout the United States. Whereas Native Americans are inextricably linked with the history of the United States, Native Americans' contributions are woven deeply into our nation's rich tapestry. During National Native American Heritage Month, we honor and celebrate the first Americans and recognize their contributions and sacrifices. Whereas Native Americans have influenced every stage of America's development, aiding early European settlers, contributing democratic ideas to our constitutional framers, and serving with distinction in the United States Armed Forces for over 200 years. The nation is grateful for their service and sacrifice. Whereas Native American Awareness Week began in 1976, and recognition was expanded by Congress and approved by President George Bush in August of 1990, designating the month of November as National American Indian Heritage Month. And whereas the 2020 Census Bureau data estimates that the Native American population grew to 7.1 million people identifying as Native American. Whereas Native Americans are a testament to the deep importance of culture and vibrancy of traditions passed down throughout generations, Native American men and women contribute to all areas of life in Lawton, Oklahoma, including but not limited to government, business, arts and science, medicine, education, law enforcement, and the military. I therefore do recognize November 2023 as Native American Heritage Month and encourage everybody to enjoy and check out the Native American Mr. Chairman, you get the mic.
Well, we are accepting this on behalf of all the tribes in southwest Oklahoma. Well, every time we go out, we welcome our friends and families to Indian country, which is southwest Oklahoma, where the modern frontier is home of the great Comanche Nation as well as other tribes. So thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. One more round of applause for this awesome presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Omega Psi Phi, John Deal. Omega Psi Phi will come forward, please. These guys work tirelessly, making a difference in the lives of youth in our community, and it's my honor to do this proclamation for you guys today. Whereas Omega Psi Phi is the first international fraternity organized to be founded on the campus of a historically black college, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated was founded at Howard University in Washington, District of Columbia on November 17, 1911 by undergraduates Oscar Cooper, MD, Frank Coleman, PhD, and Edgar Amos Love, DD, and their faculty advisor, Ernest Everest. The Psi Upsilon chapter was chartered at the Patterson Center in Lawton, Oklahoma on July 5, 1952. Whereas the Psi Upsilon chapter, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, has maintained a commitment to the betterment of mankind, the enhancement of the community, and the enrichment of collegiate men through dedication to its cardinal principles of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. Whereas the Psi Upsilon chapter has carried out the goals of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity in the Lawton Fort Sill community by participating in events to uplift the community, including voter registration, scholarship programs, and youth mentorship programs. Whereas during the fraternity's Achievement Week celebration, the Psi Upsilon chapter will celebrate more than 71 years of service to the Lawton Fort Sill community in many diverse fields of endeavor. 71 years now. Are any of y'all charter members? Okay. Whereas, I'm sorry, I couldn't miss that. Whereas the Psi Upsilon chapter Omega Psi Phi fraternity will commemorate its contributions and promote its continued success through its Achievement Week activities during the week of November 12 to November 18, 2023 in Lawton, Oklahoma. Now therefore, I do proclaim the week of November 12 through 18, 2023, Psi Upsilon Chapter Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Week, with Friday, November 17th as Psi Upsilon Chapter Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Day, saluting the valuable contributions that the members of the Psi Upsilon Chapter Omega Psi Phi Fraternity have made in improving the lives of all citizens and thus improving the Lawton Fort Sill community. Let's give them a round of applause for all the work that they do. All right.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of the Psi Upsilon chapter here in Lawton, Oklahoma, we'd like to officially invite everyone here that may not know about the Achievement Week. The Achievement Week for Omega Psi Phi fraternity is basically a celebration, not only for the accomplishment that these great men up here have done to contribute to the uplift of this community, but for our civilians, people that have gave tremendous contribution over the last year. The mayor pretty much covered everything in regards to our history, Just know that the only other thing I would just say is that together and as we continue to support each other, I see a lot of religious leaders in here, and we appreciate us all working together to help uplift this community and help those people that are in need or a little less fortunate than we are. And we thank you, and we, once again, we thank you, and Mayor, appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Let's give them another round of applause. I appreciate what you guys do. Thank you. Okay, I don't see Steve Howard. Is Steve here? How about David Tyler? And Stephen Wall? All right, Mr. Wall, come on up. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you, Mayor.
All right, so today we're talking about an Extra Mile Award. And this is something we started some years ago, and we picked 3 citizens to give this extra mile to. And the proclamation will kind of explain it all a little bit. Whereas Lawton, Oklahoma is a community which acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within the entire community when its individual citizens collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. And Lawton, Oklahoma is a community which encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contributions to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, families, friends, and community. Whereas Lawton, Oklahoma is a community which chooses to shine a light on and celebrate individuals and organizations within its community who go the extra mile in order to make a difference and lift up fellow members of their community. Excuse me. Whereas Lawton, Oklahoma acknowledges the mission of Extra Mile America to create 550 Extra Mile cities in America and is proud to support the Extra Mile Day on November 1st. Today, we do proclaim November 1 to be 2023 Extra Mile Day with special recognition to Stephen Wall for going the extra mile with his volunteerism in the community. Let's give Stephen a big round. I'm just telling him the city lives on the back of volunteers. You see them everywhere. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for coming. Let's give him another round of applause. Okay, now we move on to reports by the mayor and city council. We'll start with Mayor Pro Tem. Okay, Ms. Johnson.
Testa.
There it goes. All right. I just wanted to take a moment to recognize some youth. They're not all here today, but a few years ago, I created the City of Lawton Youth Council, and I want to present to those that are here and those that are watching our new City of Lawton Youth Council. And I can tell you that when we were doing the interviews, these are some awesome young people. Again, it's not all of them, but I'm going to let them just kind of say who they are and why they chose to be involved.
Hi, my name is Isha Kara. I'm a sophomore at Eisenhower, and I decided to be on youth council because I wanted to understand how our government works.
Hello, my name is Kira Doyle. I go to MacArthur High School and I am a senior, and I want to be a part of city council because I want to learn more about the city I grew up in, Lawton, Oklahoma, and I want to give back to the community because it's given me so much.
Hi, my name is Kirsten Doyle. I am a senior and I go to MacArthur High School. I wanted to join the City Council Lawton because I want to learn more about the community and give back to the community that I love so much and I've grown up in, while also learning as much as I can about city government.
Hello, I'm Alexis Williams. I'm from MacArthur and I'm a senior. I joined the Lawton Youth Council because, for one, I wanted to get more insight on Lawton and what goes on in the council, and yeah, just bring the youth together as a community.
Hello, my name is Felicity Godwins. I'm a junior at Lawton High. I decided to interview to join the Lawton High Youth Council because I want to be more involved in my community and get others involved.
Let's give these ladies a hand. And one of the things that are that's really impressive about all the youth that are on the council this year is they want to get involved and they want to learn more about council. They're not just, kind of sitting to the side and, figuring it out. They want to get involved and learn. So hopefully one day you'll see one or two or maybe all of these young people sitting in these seats, and that's what our goal is. So thank you very much.
Okay, so before y'all leave, I want to give you an I Love Lawton Fort Symphony. And I'm going to have to steal a few, but I'm not going to give mine up, but I'll steal a few from these. Two of them will be
She
good.
has one. She's wearing one, Mayor.
There we go.
Oh, he gave it to
You
you.
already had one. Look at you. Okay, so has everybody got one? Okay, and we'll get you a magnet one later, okay? So thank you, Gert. Let's give them another round of applause. I remember giving you that now. Yes. All right, that's great. Isn't it great that here we are in a city council meeting and we're uplifting kids so far? It's been great. And so, Mr. Uyghur.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of this weekend, we're going to be celebrating Veterans Day, and as a nation, may we take time out and when you meet the veterans out there, let them know how much we appreciate their service to our country, for without them, we wouldn't have the freedom we're enjoying today. So on behalf of many Americans, I'd like to be the first to say thank you, ladies and gentlemen that have served in our military, for serving our country so well.
All right, well, that deserves a round of applause, too. We are a veteran community. Mr. Hampton.
Yes, thank you, veterans, for your service. As always, my farmer's market update, I got some, let me give this right, pecan, apple, cinnamon bread. I can't have cake, so I think it was bread. But the farmer's market is always providing fresh vegetables still. Make your way out there if you can. And then I wanted to give a shout out to the Rotary Club for bringing in the Live to Lead today with John Maxwell. I was able to attend that today, and it's always enlightening and encouraging. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Gill. Ms. Chapman. Mr. Harris.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank the veterans in my family, my father, my brother, and my grandparents that served, and I hope we honor them this Veterans Day, as well as all the veterans in this community who have served, and those that are currently serving, and some that we just deployed this week.
Ms. Hankins.
First of all, for those people online or here, did you see these kids that wanted to know more about their city? I mean, that's exactly why you serve. And so I would encourage people to get involved somehow, some way, so you can be a part of your city and get to know more by serving. And I will be going to Tulsa. My son-in-law is involved in a program called Soldier's Wish. He's a retired military also, and they grant wishes to soldiers that have needs. So I will enjoy being a part of that.
All right. Thank you all very much. Now we move on to audience participation. Anyone having an item of business to present to the City Council that does not appear on the agenda, please come forward at this time. Are you guys wanting to come forward? Okay, we'll come to that, right. Okay, it's on the agenda. This is for if something's not on the agenda and you want to address the council. Seeing none, I will close audience participation. By the way, before we get to the consent agenda, I am striking item 19 and 20. Okay? Now, on the consent agenda, the following items are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on an item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda prior to action and considered separately. Council, do you have any items that you wish to pull for discussion? And if not, do you have a motion?
Mayor and council, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion for approval and a second by Mr. Gill. Please vote. Motion carries 7-0. That brings up item 12. Hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution declaring the structures located at 505 Southwest H Avenue, 507 Southwest H Avenue, 622 Southwest H Avenue, 626 Southwest H Avenue, 709 Southwest Summit Avenue, 711 Southwest Summit Avenue, 909 Southwest H Avenue, 922 Southwest 6th Street, 1006 Southwest 6th Street, 1008 Southwest 6th Street, 1205 Southwest Georgia Avenue, 1405 Northwest Lawton Avenue, 1416 Northwest Dearborn Avenue, to be dilapidated pursuant to Section 651 Lawton City Code, ordering the owner to abate the nuisance, authorizing summary abatement, and authorizing the city attorney to commence legal action in district court to abate the nuisance. John.
Mayor, council, 505 Southwest H Avenue has had inactive water since 2017 and a fire date of 12/27/2019. As you can see in these pictures right here, the structure sustained a whole fire on this property. A lot of charring, windows are gone. And then there is a shed, a secondary structure on this property as well. There's a shed that is also on this that sustained some fire as well during the time of the fire. Posted on the property on 10/25/23. Questions?
Council, I want to remind you that we ask questions before we open the public hearing. We don't give comments. Are there any questions on this property from the council? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing on 505 Southwest H Avenue. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward at this time. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Council?
Yes, Mayor, I move to approve a resolution declaring this the requested structure to be dilapidated and a public nuisance as said in the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote.
Gill,
Yes.
Hampton,
Yes.
Uyghur, Johnson, Warren, Hankins, Harris, Chapman.
Motion carries. Brings up 507 Southwest H Avenue. John?
507 Southwest H Avenue has had inactive water since 2018. As you can see right here in the front, the window is actually open for unsecured on the front, and also the trimming around the porch is starting to mold and rot. Siding on the side of the house is starting to come apart with a little bit of the butt rot on the bottom there. More decaying siding on the other side of the house. Right here on the window on the left-hand side, you can see that there is no siding there, that they just put a plywood up, and then also unsecured on the window. And then this is the back side of the house where you can see that the structure has started to come down on itself. Posted the property on 10/25 of 23. Questions?
Seeing no questions, I'll open the public hearing on 507 Southwest H Avenue. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Council,
Mayor, I move to approve the resolution declaring this structure a dilapidated public nuisance as stated in the resolution.
do I have a second? Second. Have a motion and a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote.
Hampton. Yes. Uyghur. Yes. Johnson. Warren. Hankins. Harris. Chapman. Gill.
Yes.
Motion carries. Bringing up 622 Southwest H Avenue. John?
622 Southwest H Avenue does not have any water information in our system. As you can see right here, this is the backside of the house where the structure has started to fall in on itself. The walls have started to fall in. Windows unsecured, broken windows as well. You can see right here on the concrete on the side of the house where you can see where it's starting to fall apart. This is actually above a door where you can see that goes straight into the structure itself, so there's no door frame on the top side of it. Siding, once again, holes to underneath the structure itself. Does have trees growing underneath it. Damage to the roof. Posted on the property on 10/25/23. Questions?
Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing on 622 Southwest H Avenue. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward at this time. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Mr. Hampton.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I move to approve a resolution declaring the requested structure to be dilapidated public nuisance as stated in the resolution.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote.
Uyghur. Johnson. Warren. Hankins. Harris. Chapman. Gill.
Yes.
Hampton.
Motion carries. Bringing up 626 Southwest H Avenue. John?
626 Southwest H Avenue does not have information on our water, on the water account. Did have a fire back on 1/5/23. As you can see on the front side right here where there is smoke damage on the front side of it. This is actually on the back side where you can see that there's a hole that's going through the structure. They tried to board and secure it, but there is still unsecured on windows that are broken out. The back side of the structure is also separating from the main structure as well. More fire damage, missing windows. And this is the look on the inside of the house where you can see a lot of the charring and smoke damage to this property. And then, once again, roof damage as well. And then this is a secondary structure on the back side of it where it has collapsed on itself. Posted on the property on 10/25/23. Questions?
Seeing no questions, I'll open up the public hearing on 626 Southwest H Avenue. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Mr. Hampton?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve a resolution declaring the required structures to be dilapidated public nuisance as stated in the resolution.
Motion and a second? We do have a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote.
Johnson. Warren. Hankins. Harris. Chapman. Gill.
Yes.
Hampton. Uyghur.
And the motion carries, bringing up 709 Southwest Summit Avenue. John?
709 Southwest Summit has had inactive water since 2019. As you can see right here, there's missing siding, window trim around the window, missing siding completely from the bottom of the structure. Starting to get rot on some of the siding as well. And then siding is actually coming up above the porch. And then this is damage to one of the corners of the house where you can see that actually the foundation is starting to give away a little bit right there with missing some of that chipping away. And then this is underneath the carport where the carport's had damage to it. And then this is the structure, main structure with the roof. You can see that there's a hole. And this is the other side of the structure with a hole in the roof. And then this is the back side. This is a secondary structure on the back side that was used probably for a shed. As you can see, broken windows, roof is coming down on the structure. And then this is another secondary structure as well. As you can see, roof damage on there and also holes in the siding. Posted on the property on 10/25/23. Questions?
Seeing no questions, I'll open the public hearing on 709 Southwest Summit Avenue. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward at this time. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Mr. Hampton.
Yes, Mayor, I move to approve a resolution declaring the structure on this property, the structures on this property a dilapidated public nuisance and authorize the abatement thereof as set forth in the resolution.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We do have a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote.
Warren. Hankins. Harris. Chapman. Gill.
Yes.
Hampton. Uyghur. Johnson.
Motion carries. Bringing up 711 Southwest Summit Avenue. John?
711 Southwest Summit Avenue, in active water since 2022. As you can see right here, there's actually some of the trim that has started to come apart from the window out of the front. The siding right here on the side, you're missing complete siding where the plywood is starting to mold and mildew on this. Damage on the siding as well above it, and trim damage. Siding is starting to fall apart and come apart from the structure. As well, you're missing the egress steps for the back door. Also, the siding is also missing and damaged. And then roof damage as well. And then siding coming apart from the second story, from the upstairs of the structure. And then more siding damage. And then the roof damage as well on this. Posted the property on 10/25/23. Questions?
Seeing no questions, I'll open the public hearing on 711 Southwest Summit Avenue. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward at this time. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Mr. Hampton.
Yeah, I move to approve a resolution declaring the structures on this property a dilapidated public nuisance and authorize the abatement thereof as set forth in the resolution.
And we have a motion and a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote.
Hankins. Harris. Chapman. Gill.
Yes.
Hampton. Uyghur. Johnson. Warren.
Motion carries. Bringing up 922 Southwest 6th Street. Am I on the wrong one?
909.
Okay, let's back up to 909 Southwest H Avenue then. 909 Southwest H Avenue.
909 Southwest H Avenue has had inactive water since 2010. As you can see in this photo right here, the trim on the front side of the porch for the roof is completely missing. Windows are broken out for unsecured. Also roof damage on this property as well. Here's a little bit better view of the roof and the soffit that is starting to come, or the trim and the soffit that is starting to come down. And then also the roof damage, as you can see that there's a hole that goes into the structure itself. We have trim issues and also siding issues on this one. This is underneath the carport where you can see the light is actually coming through where the wood has started to rot. And then missing and damaged siding on the side of the house. More soffit and trim damage. And then siding damage underneath one of the doors on the back side of the house. Siding damage as well on the other side. And then there's also siding damage on top of the structure itself. And then we go into the roof damage right here where you can see that there's actually the roof trim that's fallen off where you can see that the roof has started to decay on that. Posted the property on 10/25/23. Questions?
Seeing none, I will open the public hearing on 909 Southwest H Avenue. Anybody wishing to speak on this item, please come forward at this time. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Council.
Mayor, I move to approve a resolution declaring the structure on this property a dilapidated public nuisance and authorize the abatement thereof as set forth in the resolution.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote.
Harris. Chapman. Gill.
Yes.
Hampton.
Yes.
Uyghur.
Yes.
Johnson. Warren. Hankins.
Motion carries. Bringing up 922 Southwest 6th Street. John.
922 Southwest 6th Street is a secondary structure on this property. You can see where the homeowner has actually taken off the staircase and tried to board and secure the upstairs on this. You can still see that there is some issues on the front side where they are missing the railing on this. Also, the posts that are on there are starting to decay. Another better picture of where they took out the staircase. And then this is a picture through one of the windows for the missing windows, damaged windows, excuse me, where the roof has actually started to fall in on the structure itself. And then there's another picture of where the roof is falling in on itself as well. We posted the property on 1025 at 23. Questions?
Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing on 922 Southwest 6th Street. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Mr. Hampton.
I move to approve a resolution declaring the structure on this property a dilapidated public nuisance and authorize the abatement thereof as set forth in the resolution.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote.
Chapman. Gill.
Yes.
Hampton. Uyghur. Johnson. Warren. Hankins. Harris.
Motion carries. Bringing up 1006 Southwest 6th Street. John.
1006 Southwest 6th Street, inactive water since 2017. As you can see right here, damage to the roof, no window in the front of the structure itself for unsecuring, and also letting the critters into the structure itself. Underneath the porch, you can start seeing where it's starting to get weathered on the boards underneath of the trim in the ceiling. Missing and damaged siding on the side of the house. This is actually a corner of one of the house itself where you can see that the woods are actually starting to pull apart from it. This is still connected to the house where you can see that there is no windows into this, damaged siding where they've tried to put up plywood to kind of help it out. A little bit of damage on the side of the siding as well, and also damage to the main structure roof. This is another picture of a little bit of damage to the main structure roof. Posted on the property on 1025 at 23. Questions?
Seeing none, I will open the public hearing on 1006 Southwest 6th Street. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward at this time. All right, thank you for coming, and if you'll give us your name and address, please.
My name is Justine Rodriguez. I am here to speak for him because he don't speak English very well. He is the owner of this property, and he did receive a letter, he stated, of the city wanting to demolish it, and he is asking to see if you guys would give him a chance to fix it up.
Okay, so actually, the city doesn't want to demolish it. The city wants it improved and made legally livable.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what he's trying to do.
Now, if that's what he wants and that's what we want, then we've got a marriage made in heaven, right? But the way it works is, my guess is the council's going to put it on the D&D, and what that does is put you guys on a timetable. And you'll have, John, help me here, 6 weeks,
30 business days.
30 business days, which is 6 weeks, to pull a remodel permit. And then you will have to show improvement every 30 days. You want to explain that?
He is stating that he changed his name to this property because it was to Landa Edward and Melinda Fabian, and he has proof of where he is the owner of it now. So that's all he's asking for you all to give him a chance to fix this house for it to be livable.
Okay, John.
So beforehand, it was the owner of the property that we sent letters to was to Edwin A. and Melina Fabian. On 11/7/23, they did a quitclaim deed for this property.
Okay, so who owns the property now?
As of right now, 11/7 is Riviera. Siriaco Carrillo?
Yeah, Siraco Carrillo Rivera.
So they sold the property on 11/7.
They sold the property, or?
They just bought the property
they
on
acquired it?
11/7.
Did they have notice of today's hearing? Obviously, they did.
I would assume so, but I can double check on that. Yes, sir.
Well, ma'am, did your person here get a letter from the city about today's hearing? How did he learn about it?
I went to the property while I was cleaning outside and I saw it posted on the house.
And we went out and we posted this on 10/25/23.
So, ma'am, it was posted on 10/25. So notice was given and made public. And the deed changed hands on 2 weeks later, roughly, week and a half later. So did he know about it? Because it appears he should have known about it.
Yes, but they were not accepting me as the owner, and I went in today to get these notarized to become the owner. I had no rights of anything.
Okay, so I'll just let the council know, it appears that we did give proper notice as required by the statute. So it would be up to the council if they want to give any additional time or what the pleasure of the council is. But from legal opinion, it's my understanding. And Charlotte, I'll ask you, did we change a policy on this recently about something like this when the transfer happens after notice? Do you recall we did something on that?
Actually, we haven't finished that yet. Hang on a second.
These right here are where he had been paying taxes.
We've been working on a policy that if they had a closing date, if someone were to come in with a closing date, then council could hold off until that transfer was done, and then we would do new notice if we needed to. But this was just filed today. The deed was filed today, so he just took ownership today. So they saw the posting on the house, so that's up to you if you feel.
So my answer is I think notice was proper. The individual is here, and so it's the pleasure of the council.
It sounds to me like he bought the property earlier, but he didn't go to get it notarized till just today. Which really doesn't change a lot, I mean.
That were the owners.
Yeah.
It was signed yesterday.
How long did he have those papers before he took them to get them signed? Ask him how long he had them before he went to get them signed.
¿Cuántos días tenías con los papeles antes de que tú fueras dueño de que fueras a ir a firmar?
John?
Yes, sir.
When do you plan on bringing more houses back?
Be the first council. The next time for council will be the first council meeting in December.
Okay, did you hear that, Mr. Hampton? It'll be December 5th.
Did he answer my question on how long he had the paperwork before he got signed?
He stated that he already had bought the property.
Yeah,
But original owners had never notified him anything, and he gave them the $10,000 for the property and just signed them yesterday.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I think we have a motion.
Yes, Mayor, I moved for a continuance of this public hearing on this matter to December 5th. And at that point, you're going to pull a permit on this. There's not a permit on this house right now, John?
No, sir.
Yeah, you pull a permit before then to do the repair. I saw the 2x4s on the ceiling.
Before what date?
As soon as possible.
Okay, so we're going to deal with the motion. The motion is to continue this public hearing to December the 5th.
December
Is
5th.
there a second? We do have a second. Discussion or debate?
Yes.
Okay.
My discussion, I would suggest, anyway, since we're continuing this, I would suggest he get down and get a building permit immediately, which will have a big impact when it comes back up at the next appointed time. He needs to pull a permit and get started. Thank you.
Okay, please vote.
Gill,
Yes.
Hampton,
Yes.
Uyghur, Johnson, Warren, Hankins, Harris, Chapman,
Motion carries. Bringing up 1008 Southwest 6th Street. John?
If we can go.
Yep. .1008 Southwest 6th Street. We don't have any information in our water account systems. As you can see, it's overgrown on the front side. A little bit of damage to the, a little bit of damage to the roof and also to the roof trim. This is underneath the porch where you can see that the boards on the porch are actually starting to come down. This is actually the damage to the roof that I was trying to say right here. There, you can see that there's a hole on the front side of the roof, missing trim, missing siding. As you can see, because it is missing this siding, that the rest of it is actually starting to slag just a little bit. Missing damaged siding right here. Unsecured windows. And then this is on the back side of the structure where there's a hole leading into the roof and to the structure itself. And then this is on another back side of the structure where you can see that there is more damage to the roof and to the shingles. Posted on the property on 10/25/23. Questions?
Seeing none, I'll open up the public hearing on 1008 Southwest 6th Street. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward at this time.
No. He's.
Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Mr. Hampton.
Yes, Mayor, I move to approve a resolution declaring this structure on this property a dilapidated public nuisance and authorize the abatement thereof as set forth in the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote.
Hampton, Uyghur, Johnson, Warren, Hankins, Harris, Chapman, Gill,
Bringing up 1205 Southwest Georgia Avenue. John?
1205 Southwest Georgia Avenue, inactive water since 2018. You can see right here that there is damage and missing trim on the, or siding of the house, missing trim on the roof. This is one of the corners of the east side corner of the structure right here where you can see that the foundation has a little bit of damage, a little bit of damage to the siding. Back side of the property, man, I covered it up with that, but there is a hole that actually goes underneath the structure itself, and then you can also start seeing some of the butt rot to the siding on the bottom. And then that's duplicate photo on, sorry about that. This is a better picture of the butt rot on the back side of the structure. And then this is the corner to the northwest side of it where you can see once again foundation has a crack in, or foundation issues on the corner. Also the siding starting to come apart on the corner as well. And then there's damage to the trim. Broken window, unsecured, damaged trim around the window. And then this is also on the front side of the house where there is missing trim, missing siding, and also damaged siding. Posted on the property on 10/25 of '23. Questions?
Seeing no questions, I'll open the public hearing on 1205 Southwest Georgia Avenue. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward at this time. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve a resolution declaring the structure on the property a dilapidated public nuisance and authorize the abatement thereof as set forth in the resolution.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We do have a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote.
Uyghur. Johnson. Warren. Hankins. Harris. Chapman. Gill. Hampton.
Motion carries. Bring it up 1405 Northwest Lawton Avenue. John?
1405 Northwest Lawton Avenue, inactive water since 2022. As you can see right here, damaged siding on the structure with a lot of butt rot. Corner of the structure with the trim, damaged trim, damaged siding as well. Here's more damaged siding. Missing siding right here going into the pipes where they tried to cover it up with just plywood that's starting to fall apart. Graffiti on the backside of the structure, damaged roof on the structure, and there's actually a hole inside the siding right there that leads into the structure as well. More pictures of the damaged roof. You can see right here where the trim is actually starting to fall down on the roof as well. Right here in this picture, there's missing trim pieces on the edge of the roof, and then this roof right here is actually starting to dip over this area. And then damaged trim for the roof, and then also the gutters are starting to come down on as well. Posted on the property at 10/25/23. Questions?
Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing on 1405 Northwest Lawton Avenue. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward at this time. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Mr. Harris.
Yes, I move to approve a resolution declaring the structure on the property a dilapidated public nuisance and authorize the abatement thereof as set forth in the resolution.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote.
Johnson. Warren. Hankins. Harris. Chapman. Gill. Hampton. Uyghur.
Motion carries. Bring it up 1416 Northwest Dearborn Avenue. John?
1416 Northwest Dearborn Avenue, inactive water since 2014 with a fire date of 8/26/23. As you can see, the fire went through this whole entire structure on the property. This is a secondary structure on the property as well, probably used for storage, that has damages to the roof and is starting to lean to come in on itself. Posted on the property on 10/25/23. Questions?
Seeing no questions, I'll open up public hearing on 1416 Northwest Dearborn Avenue. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Mr. Harris.
That's not my ward. That would be Allen.
I believe it's mine, yeah, I'm fine. I may in a minute misdirected. Mayor, I move to approve a resolution declaring the structure on this property a dilapidated public nuisance and authorize the abatement thereof as set forth in the resolution.
Have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We do have a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote.
Warren. Hankins. Harris. Chapman. Gill. Hampton. Uyghur. Johnson.
Motion carries. Thank you, John. Bringing up item number 13. Receive a report from EST on the status of bids for the 10 Wins for the Citizens On Target On Time project and take action as deemed necessary. Mr. Gill, do you have any comments before Chris gets up here? Or do you want to wait?
I'll wait.
Okay, Chris.
think it's on now. Can you hear me? Mayor, Council, thank you for having me here today. I'll give you this update on the... Does that work there? Is that better? Okay. On Tuesday, October 10th, 2000... On Tuesday, October 10th, 2023, City Council, at the recommendation of the City of Lawton Streets, Roads, and Bridges Committee, approved 10 streets for an asphalt mill and overlay project entitled 10 Wins for the Citizens, on time, on target. The project was publicly advertised for 21 days, beginning on Friday, October 13th. 3 contractors attended a pre-bid conference on October 27th, 2023, and 4 bids were submitted and opened on November 3rd. The low bidder was Elfworth Construction, LLC of Oklahoma City in the amount of $1,548,624.50, which is approximately $528,648.08, or 25% below the engineer's estimate. The other bids were a little higher. We would like to approve or recommend moving forward with this contractor.
Okay, Mr. Gill.
Thank you, Chris. What he just went over was we had the bid opening last Friday, had 4 bids, which was really a good turnout. We're beginning to see more contractors interested in doing this road work in this area. That's a good thing. The price was under engineer's estimate. Another good thing, all bids were fairly close. They were all but one under engineer's estimate, so that's good. It appears that we're getting a good dollar value on the repair work. I will present at the next council meeting a week from today a motion to approve this low bidder, and then he can get started right away. EST is in the process right now of getting the contracts ready, the bonds ready, the insurance certificates, and the other required necessary documentation. Ellsworth, as I understand, the low bidder, is already just about has all his documents ready, and we'll have them in just a few days. So we should be able to have the opportunity to approve this at the next council meeting, and construction should be able to start right away. Hopefully all this will be done in 90 days. That's the schedule we gave them, and that will also be part of the motion next week. A 90-day time window to have these first 10 streets done. We've approved another 13, only approved, not for construction or going out for bids, and then we're going to do another 17 tomorrow, which will give us 40 streets to mill and resurface as the mayor requested by the January the 9th council meeting. So the mayor should be happy that his initiative is going forward and is not only on time, but ahead of time.
Well, I am happy, and I appreciate the Streets Committee and EST and the staff working together to make this happen for the citizens. Do you have any action on this? Okay, it will be, I just want to confirm it'll be ready without test given direction. It will be ready for next week.
I just had a
Hold on
comment.
just a minute. It will be ready. Want to confirm that?
That would be a Joe Painter question or a Chris question.
We've been working with Chris hand in hand, and we started the agenda item for the October 14th council agenda. And Chris talked to the contractor. We know the Ellsworth from previous, so they're going to bar something crazy. We should have all the documents in hand for the 14th council agenda.
November 14th.
Yeah, November 14th.
Okay. And Ms. Johnson?
That answered part of my question, but I also wanted to make a comment to everyone that's involved, council and staff, in this real aggressive thinking outside the box road project. And I think this is really great. So thank you all.
Okay, Mr. Gill.
I would like to take this opportunity to make a motion to bring this back next week at the appointed time council meeting, which will be the 14th. And so the motion would be to bring this back to the council for approval.
Okay, bring it back ready to award the bid.
Correct, ready
Okay.
to award the bid.
Okay, motion to direct staff to bring this back ready to bid and award. Is there a second? Second. We do have a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote. Motion carries 8-0. Thank you, Chris. And thank you to the Streets Committee, and thank you to the staff for all they've done to make that work. We've already done item 14, so this brings up item 15. Discuss neighborhood watch programs in the city of Lawton and take action as deemed necessary. Council, I put this on the agenda because I feel like our neighborhood watches are very beneficial to the city. And when we did the Whirlwind Tour, the one that we did with a neighborhood watch probably had a minimum of 10 times the people the other Whirlwind Tour events had. And it was a very well done event. And so I've had a discussion with a few people that don't have neighborhood watches in their wards that would like to have them. But I feel like there's some things that we could do to help augment neighborhood watches. We either feel like they're worthwhile or we don't feel like they're worthwhile. And if we feel like they're worthwhile, what can we do to augment that? Now, a few ideas I might have is that we allow one mass mailing for them per year, and maybe buy them some signs they can put out and provide training for captains. So those are just a few thoughts, and I think some other council members want to speak on this. I think the Mayor Pro Tem does. Okay.
I'm one that wishes I had neighborhood watches. I haven't had before. Since we've had the boundary drawn, there may be one in Almore West. I'm not sure. I haven't been able to get a hold of anybody. But I would be willing to do whatever we need to do, I think, to encourage that. There's a lot of different things that we can do once we get them set up. I think getting them set up and getting citizens to participate is going to be the first step. But yeah, I've got a lot of ideas of what I'd like to do as far as mobile speed limit signs and different things like that we might be able to rotate into the different neighborhoods and stuff. But we'd have to have, buy-in from the neighborhoods so that we could use their yard and things of that nature.
All right, thank you. Ms. Chapman.
I think my Meadowbrook Hines Neighborhood Watch has been so successful. And actually, it came from the citizens in my ward where I live. And they are the ones who started this. It's important to have a place also. We have been lucky to have a church who has opened up and allowed us to have these meetings. We have charged families who come to join $20 a year, and that has helped buy stickers for the doors. So if anyone's having a problem, they can come to that door and know that they're going to have some help. We have officers, we have block captains, so to speak, and we do a lot on social media as far as organizing our meetings, and we have signs that are put out the week before we have our Meadowbrook. So it has, for me, it's come from the citizens who live in that area who were wanting this.
Did that start after you were elected, or was it in place?
It started after I was elected, almost immediately after.
And the citizens started it?
They called me and said, how do we start a neighborhood watch?
And so you connected them with the police department?
The police department, yes.
And they helped them?
Mhm.
Okay, all right. Mr. Hampton.
Yes, Mayor. I am fortunate to have two neighborhood watches in my ward. The Cleveland Neighborhood Watch has been going on for years and years. And then we just opened up the Matty Beal Neighborhood Watch. And it was initiated by the citizens, the Matty Beal. They are a very active group, and there's one a lady that actually sends out it'd be sent out almost like a newsletter to the rest of the people. They have a group text that's going on, and that's in one of the older parts of the neighborhood. Some of the benefits are that they know the thieves, the local neighborhood thieves, the adults and the adolescents in the neighborhoods, and they kind of watch and text each other to try to police. I'm not really sure if it's all good or bad, but they're a pretty confrontive group in trying to take back their neighborhood. They deal with dog issues, they deal with trash issues, they deal with dilapidated houses issues, they deal with a lot of things, and of course, they live there, so they know what's going on. The Cleveland Neighborhood Watch has been going on many years, and they have a president, and they actually have a treasurer and have funds that they use if they want to put up more signage. I think one of the things that the police force does, I don't know, I see Assistant Police Chief Hines, the police are very active in giving reports, and I know that after they made the initial computer change, they weren't able to give detailed reports, but Sergeant Dimmitt gave us a detailed report last meeting. I don't, did the police force initially start the neighborhood watch groups? Because I know that there was some signage put up by the police force, the police station. By the police, there was some signage put up by the police station saying this is a neighborhood watch area in the Cleveland area, and I think that they're about to put up signage over in the Matty Beal area. But it is initiated, but in my thinking that the police force is very involved in it. He usually gives a detailed report of all the crime that's been in the area, as well as answers any questions. My neighborhood watch groups, and I know that yours does too, Linda, and probably the other ones, they actually have somebody from the city come to every meeting, whether it's streets or trash or the police or whoever, and give a question and answer sort of time for the citizens to connect with the city officials. So it's been very beneficial. Council members, it does take a little bit extra time because you've got to kind of be involved there with them, but that does help. I think probably at re-election time. I don't want to get cheesy about re-election, but you know, it does get you involved with your citizens and voters. Thank you, Mayor.
Who else would like to speak on this? U.S. Johnson.
That was cheesy. No. But we have one very active neighborhood watch or Ranch Oak Association. They meet monthly. And same thing, you know, we try to make sure that representation from the police department is there, and also city staff when they request that. And they are very active. They also, in between meetings, if something's going on, they'll call and, you know, say what's going on or what they need help with, and we try to get some help out there as soon as we can. We have another one in the Lawton View area that is being revived right now. I spoke with one of the leaders that have been championing that, but I think it really helps. I think I heard mentioned that we are, you know, one of the possibilities is to help with mass mailings or newsletter of some sort. I think that would be great. Training also for those that are thinking about starting neighborhood watches and those that have been there. I think we can support a little bit more. And I think that would help people to step up because I do see a lot of, there's like Nextdoor and different other apps and Facebook pages where people are talking about, the problems and the issues, but, we're not there, on those pages. So it really helps if we start to kind of pull those people in to become the neighborhood watch.
And while the chief's making his way up to the microphone, Ms. Hankins. Ms. Hankins.
Do you want me to confess? I'm probably the only council person that doesn't have one, is that correct?
No.
Oh, well, okay, good.
Actually, Ward 8 or 6. I don't think Ward 6 has one, does it?
We had 2 when I started, and they were older people and actually have passed away since then. And so I do think that it's important for the citizens. I'll be happy to get one going with someone who's a citizen. But I think for just the council person to do it, it can be risky. Ward 1 is very fragmented. It's, there's a lot of different, there's not that real cohesiveness. And I think Ms. Chapman has one of the best ones because the people in her group are really well educated to what the problems are, and they're active citizens. They're just active citizens. So if anybody, it was Morford Watch, Morford Hills. And so if anybody wants to call me, I'll work with them because we have in the past. We had a pretty good one that's in Linda's ward now that met. Yeah. So you're not helping me really. Uh-huh. Yeah, at the Nelson's house. And the police officers are committed, I think. I mean, we always dim it, and then we've had some others that have regularly come, and I think the police support that. So anyway, if anybody wants to start one, give me a call, but I don't want to be the one that starts it.
Mr. Harris.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I was wondering, and maybe this is a question for Tim, like the HCC King Centers in my ward, can I use that to host neighborhood watch committees, or do I need to pay to rent that?
I would need to know what the policy says on that, because I don't know if there's a rule for renting on that. I mean, it's something we could look at.
I'll tell you what, if the policy says we're going to charge neighborhood watches, we'll change the policy.
Yes.
Okay, we're not going to charge neighborhood watches to use city buildings. If it says that, please bring it back to change it. Did you have other questions?
No, I just wanted to say that I really want to get the Lawton Heights area, some representation, and that would be a great place to have that because it's right in the middle of that neighborhood.
And Chief, do you have anything you want to tell us about neighborhood watches? And my particular question, you can say whatever you want to, but I really want to know, do you believe they are worthwhile to the police department?
Well, a simple answer is yes. They're very worthwhile, very important to the police department. But like everyone has talked about up here before, they're only as good as the members. They have to be active and engaged. And Ms. Chapman's chapter is very engaged. And it's just not for crime also, but also reporting some of the other things that's going on in their neighborhood. Loose dogs, trash, abandoned cars and stuff like that. But it brings the neighborhood together and let them know what's going on in their community, but also being engaged with the police department, fire department, and other city departments to get things taken care of. Issues that's going on in their neighborhood, a lot of times we don't know about it, but if they would report it to us and let us know, it will be very beneficial all the time. And like I said, it is just as good as the people that's involved in operating it and letting us know what's going on in the community. And we in turn get engaged with the neighborhood watches also.
So beneficial. If
Absolutely.
it's beneficial to you, if it's
Yes.
beneficial to the police, it's beneficial to the neighborhood, it's beneficial to the city. Thank you. Council, do you have any questions for the chief?
Yeah, Chief, do you know any of the details about the signage? I know they have like neighborhood watch signs that they
Yes,
post.
in the past, we have put some up. I have to do some double checking to see who pays for those. But I can get back with you on that.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to bring up the fact that the police department is really heavy engaged. I know that you provide the police officers that, and I'm assuming Sergeant Dimon is the main guy, so you have a point of contact that's consistently there all the time, the same
Correct.
person, correct?
And when he can't be there, we'll designate others to come by some of those meetings.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Chapman?
I'm sorry, Councilman Hampton. We paid for those signs. The city made them, but our neighborhood watch paid for the signs, and then the city erected them through the streets department.
Mr. Hampton?
Yeah, I think that the Cleveland Watch had said that initially it was one of the groups at the police department that had paid for those, and I think that we went ahead and paid for part of those. But Chief, if you could, there's a little confusion on my part when I talked to my neighborhood watch. So if you could let us know about that, it'd be great.
Yes.
How the funding for that goes.
We may have the answer right here.
Cynthia?
Council, we do ask for the individual neighborhood watch to purchase the sign. It can be purchased from anywhere, and then the streets department will put it up for them.
Maybe we can talk about it, so maybe the city helping with some of that if...
I've been here too long because I'm old enough now I've forgotten. But I think old Tim down there, legal might want to look at that. There was a story. I don't remember what it was. There's something that I believe prohibit us from paying for it because it's for an organization outside of the city. But I think, if the city will provide the poles and the concrete and erect it, I think that any of us that can get a neighborhood watch together can find the money for the signs.
Yeah, old Tim doesn't remember the story, so it may predate me, but we'll be happy to take a look at it.
Okay, I have a suggested motion, and you guys can add, we can have a motion by committee, because I think everybody's invested in this issue. But my suggestion is to direct staff to put together a plan to augment neighborhood watch for existing and potential new, including training for captains, advertisement assistance, sign assistance, and any other ways the city can augment success, and bring back that plan by January 23rd. Is that a reasonable time frame, Dwayne?
Yeah, Mayor, can you add, I'm sorry, were you talking?
No, I just.
So he's already so moved, so we have a motion.
I'll second that motion, but can we add to that, so I'd like to make an amendment to that maybe we can, as they're doing that, they can check with some of our peer cities and see if they have neighborhood watch groups and what they're doing.
I do accept that. Good idea.
Okay, so we have added to that as a friendly motion to check with the peer cities. We have a motion and a second. Discussion or debate?
You want
Please.
me to add and check with you on anything?
Yeah.
I'm going to, discussion, yes. And if anything else, and we need to add anything to that motion, if we need to add anything, we'll get with the mayor and see what's on his mind on it too. So the mayor will be open to any type of information or questions on this motion.
Sounds good. Please
Okay.
vote.
I just threw you in there. That's good.
Happy to do that. 7? We missing somebody? Okay, motion carries 8-0. Thank you, guys. Bringing up 16. Consider setting the date of December 12, 2023 to hold a public hearing to close a public access easement for the Elmer Thomas Connector Bike Route crossing Lawton Public Schools property located approximately at 753 Northwest Fort Sill Boulevard. Consider waiving the fee, $1,000 application plus $210 for newspaper notice and $6 per owner within 300 feet for the easement closure, and select an alternate route for the Elmer Thomas Connector Bike Route. Whew. Cameron.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Cameron Good, Senior Planner in the Planning Department. This was brought to our attention with a building permit application submitted by CDBL on behalf of Lawton Public Schools. They're working on fencing in a lot of their properties. They have plans submitted to fence in the LPS, the Shoemaker Center, and the middle school, all with one building permit. During the review, the Planning Department realized that there is an easement right through the middle of their property due to the current bike path that goes through this property. As you can see in the surrounding the black square, our green route, the Elmer Thomas Connector, goes straight through their property. This was acquired by easements that were signed by the Board of Education. There's 4 easements across that. So the existing route, as you can see on this aerial, comes from Elmer Thomas, comes south on 6th, and then cuts across the street over to Fort Sill Boulevard where it jots across and then continues down Cherry Avenue. The Planning Department, according with the True North Statement, we got back with them, gave them several options moving forward. This was the alternate route that they proposed and sent back to us. It's rerouting it north of the middle school. This would go north of the middle school, then come back down and then reconnect across Fort Sill Boulevard to Cherry Avenue. This would also require an additional sidewalk of about 270 linear feet, which would be a 10-foot wide sidewalk, and then widening 190 linear feet of sidewalk to make that 10-foot. That roughly comes out to about $34,492.50 at a $9.45 square foot cost. That cost was given to us by our engineering department. The alternative route that we also proposed was to continue down 6th all the way to Fort Sill Boulevard, and then take the route and go all the way down Fort Sill Boulevard where it would connect on 21st Street where the route already comes out. This would require the widening of sidewalk along the north side of Fort Sill Boulevard, and that cost would come about $50,557.50. In 2015, Jeff Speck gave a presentation to the City Council. Part of his presentation was suggesting that 4-lane streets be shrunk down to 3-lane streets with a bike route on that. So part of the priority list from the council approved on September 27th is Ferris Boulevard being street milled and overlaid. This is from 17th Street to Fort Sill Boulevard. During that overlay, we could just restripe this road to make it a 3-lane with a dedicated bike route path. And that part of this presentation, I've put in some of these slides. Here's a visual aid of a 4-lane street and what the dangers of that is with the blind spot on that far lane. Switching it to a 3-lane allows the people that turning to see the oncoming traffic. This would actually decrease the injuries from a 4-lane street from 41 per year to 12 per year. The capacity of a 3-lane street is 15,000 to 20,000. The current volume of Ferris Boulevard is 11,307. Switching it to a 3-lane road actually triples the cyclists that ride that. The speeding reduces from 75% to 17%. Injury from vehicle accidents reduced by 63%, and the car volume and trip times actually were unchanged. Part of his presentation, what can we do while repaving our streets, is to include bike routes. So a letter was actually submitted from LPS and CDBL to consider waiving the fee of the closing of the easement. so that they can close in that property and continue the fencing like they want. This item is to set the public hearing date, consider waiving those fees, and select an alternative route for this cycle trail.
So your recommended motion would take us back to that going to Fort Sill Boulevard.
So there's two proposed routes, the A and the B.
Okay, so your recommended is B.
Yes, sir. And that would be to follow, this presentation that was given to us in 2015 it would require the widening of sidewalks up until Fort Sill Boulevard. And then when the mill and overlay happened, we would restripe from Fort Sill Boulevard over to 17th. And then that would be a 3-lane with a bike trail. And so the recommendation is to go with Route B. And this would allow them to close in their property and close the easements.
Okay, Ms. Chapman.
Cameron, 2 questions. Why are the sidewalks being widened? Are the bicycles riding on the sidewalks?
Correct. So
Okay.
the requirement for a 2-way bike trail is a minimum of 10 feet.
Okay. And second of all, I got an email from a resident concerned about the Ferris going from 4 lanes to 3 lanes. And I'm just going to read, it's a very short, but I'm going to read, and maybe you can comment on it. On trash day, making Ferris a 3-lane puts bikers at high risk when trucks block eastbound traffic and drivers pass by using the dedicated bike lane unable to see because of the large truck obstructing view. So would these bikers be on the sidewalk or part of that 3-lane road of Ferris?
As you can see on the diagram here, you would have a dedicated bike lane on the street itself. It'd be striped for the bikes to ride on it.
So it seems to me that it would be a little bit of a problem while the trash truck driver is driving down there. There's no doubt about it, but driving down any street is the same. I don't see why that would add any particular problem.
Public Works might be able to comment on this, but from my remembering, they set their trash cans up on the grass area along Ferris anyways. They don't put it down in the street.
But they would be in the bike lane.
Picking it up.
Up the trash.
Correct.
Okay. So then the bikers would have to go around the trash trucks with oncoming traffic. I'm just trying to get a visual here, just trying to understand.
Yes. Mr. Harris is next. You're down the road.
Okay. Could you go to the next slide? The one that, keep going. It was one that showed the green bicycle lane. I thought, yeah, that's this one. Okay. So, the picture on the right, all the cars that are parked, what are they in?
So this is just an example of another community where they have dedicated bike lanes on the left side of that. I don't know which direction that is, but, and then they have parking actually along both sides of the street, and it's a wide 2-lane. Yeah, so these are from the Jeff Speck presentation from 2015, so.
Okay, so.
But I know Norman paints their bike lanes with that green color as well.
Right. I'm just trying to get so last year the Chamber of Commerce had some architects come in and look at exactly this, changing Ferris to 3 lanes, and with one of them being a bike lane. And I just, they had some pretty good ideas. I think we ought to get with them and review what they came up with and maybe not reinvent the wheel, because they spent a lot of money on those architects. I'm all in favor of this. Councilman Hampton, I'm sure, is as well. We shared that road. So I'm a big fan for doing that. I think we can work out the garbage can issue. They do currently keep them up on the curb, but there should be a solution we can figure out for that, because there's not, if we put the bike lane on one, I think on the north side, there's fewer houses, because there's a big stretch where it's empty right now, so there'd be fewer people affected by the garbage, I would think.
Yes, and the chamber's plan for that area was for that to be the north side to convert into like an artist district through there. But so with an on-street bike lane, the bikers are required to obey traffic signals. So if there is a trash truck ahead of them, that I would hope that they would stop and, you know, be safe before if they did choose to go around. But
So
they are
we would
required.
not have a bike lane and a sidewalk, correct?
Not right now. That if council so determines that they would prefer us to put a bike lane in along Ferris on a sidewalk bike path instead of an in-street bike path, then that's also an option that we could do.
Okay, I would sort of encourage that if there's room. I don't know if there is. I would think there would be. If it has to be 10 feet, it might not be.
We'd have to look and see where the property line is. in
Is that
relation to the
street
curb.
anywhere on our list of possible sidewalks in the future?
Not right now. Could be, but not right now. It sounds. That's what it
Okay,
sounds like.
so, but it is on the bike path, so we
Mhm.
need to make those improvements to improve our bicycleability, I guess. All right, super, thanks.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I kind of agree with Councilman Harris, but there's a couple of things that I was going so Ferris was going to be a 4-lane or 5-lane, they changed it to a 3-lane, is that correct?
Ferris is currently a 4-lane, and the proposal with the mill and overlay, if council so chooses for that area to be the rerouted bike route,
Right.
then our recommendation would be to take it to a 3-lane.
Well, isn't there like an overall plan where Ferris is going to be upgraded?
The chamber has
upgraded,
has that overall Lawton development plan that we all looked at last year, with some road diets on C Avenue, and Ferris Avenue was one of those that they were looking at doing a road diet.
Well, I thought that there was a improvement to that road, a major improvement that was going to be on that road in that area.
Part of your ad valorem project is to look at what we're going to do with Ferris Road right there by the park and all that area right there. None of this has been ferreted through engineering yet, so we will look at it.
Yeah, Joe, originally there was going to be a 5-lane or something like that. There was some talk about a major improvement on that road.
Correct.
During that time. But what was I guess there was an idea?
It's all over the place right now. There's everybody has a bunch of recommendations, and we've got to zero in on the correct one.
Well, I remember that they were going to make it like a 5-lane road with a turn lane in the center.
And that's
And
way
we
too
had talked
much.
about that. And my concern is that one of the things that I was really concerned about is all the bus traffic at the front end of that, right on 11th Street, because that's a lot of heavy traffic in the morning and in the evening, and all the cars that go over that road. So when we had brought that up, I had thought that there needed to be some shoring up of that area somehow to take care of all that traffic, that heavy bus traffic twice a day, and then all the cars that go down in that area.
That's exactly.
And I had
what
some people, I had a lot of my constituents talk about that, and we're concerned about that. And then if we do the mill and overlay and do that, then there's a possibility of that changing when that major ad valorem or whatever we were going to do. I know that it was going to be a major project. I don't know, Councilman Harris, I don't know if you remember that, but my concern is that if we do that there, I mean that is that what the LPS? Did you say LPS thought that was a good idea to come down Cherry and then go straight up and come around, because it's 10 foot It's already there's already a 10-foot wide area right there up on Cash Road, right?
Yeah,
Once
so as
once you
can
hit
s-
up
as
the
you can
top
see
of,
on this one, there is an existing route, the purple route that goes north, and then it comes all the way over to Fort Sill Boulevard.
that's the
and
one
then
they
goes
wanted
north.
to tie into. So the short jig from Cherry up to that 10-foot, and then there's bike paths all the way that go into Elmer Thomas Park
And so
from Cash, right?
This one would be the one where there's only a sidewalk that goes just to that point at the southeast
The
corner.
10-foot sidewalk ends at Cash Road, is that right?
The southeast
I thought
corner
it was
of
on
Fort
the,
Sill,
I thought it was on the south
Boulevard.
side of the road too.
Correct, it is, and it connects to Elmer Thomas, and then it comes to the southeast corner of Fort Sill Boulevard and Cash Road. It would have to be, new sidewalk would have to be constructed about 270 linear feet down to the parking lot.
Yeah, where does the 10-foot, on the south side of Cash, where does the 10-foot end, in front of the Boy Scout?
No, sir, it ends at the southeast corner of Fort Sill Boulevard and Cash Road.
Okay.
And then new sidewalk would have to be constructed, 270 linear feet roughly. And their proposal was to build that and then stripe their existing parking lot on the west side of it as a dedicated bike lane where their offload and for school is. So stripe the west side of that all the way down to where there is an existing 5-foot sidewalk that would have to be widened to a 10-foot sidewalk. And so that's approximately 190 linear feet.
Excuse me, Kevin, did they have any input on the Ferris, putting the bicycle path on the
There is
Ferris side?
representation here from LPS and CDBL, if you'd like to ask them specific questions.
Well, I'm just thinking that with the future plans on Ferris that are in the ad valorem until something settles in there, us putting, I guess that would be a temporary fix then to put the bicycle path in the center on the mill and overlay, and then it changes when we decide we're going to widen that to a 5-lane road.
Okay, let's let Joe fill us in on plans. He's wanting to say something.
I'd suggest before we make a decision on that, we let our traffic engineer we have on staff now, who's a consultant, look at that 3-lane traffic, see if that's really a good idea, traffic counting issues. And we're going to do a major blowout of Ferris of some sort that hasn't been decided yet, but it's going to change significantly.
Yeah, have they ever looked at the amount of traffic that goes down Ferris past the school with all the activities, the McMahon Auditorium, the concerts, the Holiday of Lights
That's
and
the
all
part
that?
we're
There's a
gonna
lot of
redo.
traffic that goes down through there.
Right.
Was
That's
that
what-
why they were going to do a 5-lane at that point?
I just can't imagine the traffic. Right now, you got 11,000 cars. That's less than a 3-lane. I don't know how we're going to justify spending the money
They
for
were doing-
5-line. That's going to be interested. What else?
They were doing projection
minute,
off
please.
population accounts that didn't come to fruition.
Okay.
Those studies were.
Okay, this is in my ward, and I do have concerns from citizens and whatnot, and I do believe that I need to put their input on that. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, so we have multiple things going on here. Just a minute. And at the end of the day, we can put off a little bit of decision here on the roads, but today we need to set a date, whatever the recommended is,
December
for a
12th.
public hearing to close the easement so that the schools can secure their facilities. Now, I've got everybody lined up wanting to say something. George Gill is next, then Mr. Warren.
Wow. We don't have anything planned for Ferris from Fort Sill Boulevard going west on Ferris going from Fort Sill Boulevard towards Lee. Sheridan. We don't have anything right now from Fort Sill Boulevard going to Sheridan
Yeah.
on Ferris.
Yeah, Fort Sill Boulevard to 17th.
Well,
For
17th.
overlay, I'm not sure you have 17th to Sheridan on
Not
your
yet,
overlay.
not yet, no.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so we're a while off on that. I would think, with all the information that I'm hearing, and that everyone has quite a bit of theory and ideas, that maybe that we should have the Streets and Bridge Committee meet with staff and have some meetings on this and see what we can work out. I don't know if we need to do that before we have a public hearing, so we could be
No.
a little bit more.
We need to close, we need to set the public hearing, and we need to close that and give it back to the school so they can secure their facilities. Now,
Mayor,
maybe what we need to do, yes.
prior to us being able to close that easement, we need to have an alternate route selected for the bike path. Because if we close that easement without an alternate route selected and moving forward, then we've got a dead spot that they have to either go up Cash Road, up into Forsyth Boulevard and over.
So we're going to have a dead period anyway between the time they close that easement and we get this other construction done, right? And they're wanting to get this work done. What's your time frame, Jason?
We did talk to.
Yesterday? And it's not, we need to get the school secure. That's got to be priority for
Right.
everybody. And there's going to be a time when the bicycles are disrupted, and I just don't know what to say about that.
We also have informed them that if they'll give us a site plan short of closing that one little piece off, that we would issue so they could get started on the rest of their fence, so that this is not going to hold up their fence permit.
Okay, so what we need today, and it sounds like we're going to argue about this street deal a little bit and bike path, and that's fine, but what we don't have time to argue with, the school needs to get this going, is we need to set the hearing date for December the 12th to hold a public hearing to close a public access easement for the Elmer Thomas Connector Bike Route crossing Lawton Public Schools property located at approximately 1753 Northwest Fort Sill Boulevard. Consider waiving the fees, $1,000 application, $210 for the newspaper notice, and $6 per owner for the easement closure. Let's just go there. It says select an alternate. Let's stop right there. Can somebody make that motion?
Make that motion.
You make the motion. Is there a second? We have a second. Discussion or debate? We're talking easement closing only.
I made the motion, so I do have some
Okay.
discussion.
All right.
I think that's fine. We'll go ahead and have it as advertised, and that motion will be on the 12th. But I just want to say one thing, that staff and council and mayor, we better have our act together at that public hearing, because it's probably going to be a very interesting one, to say the least.
Okay, so I hope you have some street meetings before that. Is there any further discussion or debate on setting the date to close the easement? Please vote.
I've got to vote on my own motion.
Okay, now, let's, okay, now, I'm not sure where to go with this bike path business. I think we send it to streets and anybody can show up there and hash it out. What do y'all want to do?
What's that? What was your question?
Well, we've got to select an alternate route, and I think it's pretty clear we're not going to get that done today. And so what is your plan? Do you like to send that to streets? Mr. Warren, you got your light on.
Yeah, I can make a motion that we send it to streets with the caveat that they understand during that discussion that I'm going to be a hard pass on putting the bike lane alone in a major thoroughfare in Lawton, Oklahoma. Because people in Lawton, Oklahoma have a hard time not hitting each other in cars. And this is not Norman.
Okay, so are you making a motion to set the streets committee?
Yes.
Understanding your opinion. Is there a second? We do have a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote. Okay, the motion carries. Now, just a minute. Have we taken care of everything we need to take care of? We have?
Yes, sir. Well, besides
Okay.
selecting the alternative route, yes.
Okay. Are you happy, Jason? Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. Are you happy, Joe? I'm always happy. Always happy. Everybody's happy? We're moving on to item number 17. Direct staff to review the details of the previous summer youth program and report any findings back to council at the first council meeting in December. Ms. Johnson.
Did you have something to present? Yeah, okay. So this program was started by the late Councilman Haywood, Stanley Haywood, and it's been some years since we've actually had this, program going. And so what I would like to do is to find out all of the information about how it was ran, how much we paid the kids, where the funding came from, because what I want to do is take it a little further and kind of give it some more meat, if you will, to include things like training and following up with the youth after the summer program. I believe we just hired them in the summer and then we didn't see them again. So the more information that we have, I would be able to kind of take that program to another level.
Yes, ma'am. Duly noted.
So are you making that motion?
And I make the motion.
Do we have a second? Just somebody seconded it?
Randy.
Okay, motion and a second, discussion or debate. Please vote.
We have two,
I need one more. Oh, we have two gone. Okay, so motion carries 6-0. Item number 18, discuss council policy 1 decision, take action as deemed necessary. Council, I'm going to be as nice as I can on this. After council meetings, I get calls from certain council members complaining about other council members talking too much. And our council meetings are going in well, let's just say a long time. Council meetings are lasting a long time. I'm allowing that to soak in a little bit about how long we're here. But we have some other issues, and that is that sometimes I wonder, these are your rules. You passed them. I didn't vote on them. But I'm the one that's supposed to run the meeting. And then I have people that don't want to follow the rules. One of the rules that doesn't get followed is being acknowledged before you speak. Then I have council members that get aggravated at me because I let somebody speak before them. I'm thinking 8th grade here. And then we are under the Roberts Rules of Order, and things like we do not discuss, once a motion is made, we do not discuss anything that is not germane to the motion. I need to know what you want me to do. Now, when I have different council members calling me complaining on each other, what do? I call the guy you all elect as the mayor pro tem. And the mayor pro tem's probably got some input on this. We decided together we just need to put it on the agenda and we need to talk about it. Now, I've tried to be nice. Mr. Warren, I know will be nice.
Well, I'm going to start this with a long time ago in a land far, far away. I had a mentor named Bob Shanklin, who's no longer with us. And Bob said, "Boy, you're going to have to stop pontificating so much." He said, "Pontification is for us elder representatives." And I took that to heart. Now, I don't necessarily believe on the elder representatives portion, but I think we have to be very, very careful. And I'm guilty of it, of pontificating. There's a point, and you get to it, and you make it. And that pontification does not, as a general rule, sway the rest of the group. It usually, more than anything, irritates them. I know that I have seriously changed sides of an argument before because I got tired of hearing it. So that's just something to chew on.
Just to make sure everybody knows the definition of pontificate, I'm going to read it. Express one's opinion in a way considered annoyingly pompous. Now, did you have anything else to add, Mr. Warren?
I just think it's important that we think about what we want to say, and we say it as succinctly as possible. Get that point out there. We don't want to, and I think this group as a general rule has been pretty good about not running for office from our seat. It's, you know, that's one of the things that I know irritates a lot of other council people. I know it irritates citizens at large, and it looks bad. But I think more than anything, I think if we can just be as short and sweet and as serious as we can be in our comments, that everybody will be able to get along better.
All right, thank you, Mr. Warren. Ms. Hankins.
I think sometimes we're redundant. In other words, what's been said only needs to be said one time instead of repeating that thing that again. Maybe it's not beating dead horses. That inappropriate to say that? But that's
Probably is, but.
Yeah, okay, well, you know, I'm a farm girl, so, but that's kind of, I think, important that we be as brief as we can for the citizens and also for the people on the dais, because when you're here till 9:30 sometimes, and of course, then no one's going to want to serve on the council, including those young people that have a desire to serve. So I just say we need to be as brief as possible and not be redundant.
Okay, does anybody else want to? Oh, Mr. Warren.
I had one other thing. I wanted to just pass this along. The other night when we stayed here, I guess till
Past bedtime.
10:30 or something, I won't say who it was from, but I got a text that said, "Don't y'all have a time limit?" So I think we need to try to slow this down, or speed this up, and slow down those late meetings.
Any other comments? Okay, I'm going to assume that what you guys want me to do is manage the rules, because I'm going to start managing the rules. And you guys need to understand that I can't look both ways at once. There are going to be times that I call on somebody when somebody over here wanted to speak first and vice versa. And that's just going to happen. But we need to wait until we're acknowledged. And we need to understand that other rules, including Robert's Rules of Order. Now, we've had our do better talk. Oh, we got more do better.
I just had an epiphany. Do you remember Casa Bonita? I think it was in Oklahoma. They had the flag that we could get flags, and when you want to talk, you raise the flag.
All right, I think you guys get the pictures. Anybody want to say anything before we move on?
I don't dare.
Okay. That does say take action, but apparently nobody wants to take action. So we'll move on. Brings up staff reports. Provide City Council with an update on the FY 2022 and FY 2023 audit process. Joe Don.
Yes, Council. As a report, what we've done, where we're at right now is we have closed for the fiscal year 2022, 19 out of the 43 funds that we have. We're closing about 5 a day. And then once they're all closed, we can then turn that trial balance over to the auditors. We have run into we've got one more large obstacle we have to overcome. And right now we're working on our reconciliation of accounts receivable for utilities. That is not in balance right now from what Jim's had that we brought over to what we had. Didn't quite tie out together. There's a lot of reasons for that. Could have used different revenue codes and things that we've got to kind of work through and sort through to match some things up. I've got 2 staff members working on that part of it alone. That's Deputy Director Kristen Huntley and utility manager Marty Rapassi. But we are moving forward. I'm not going to say this obstacle is going to slow us down any. Some of the other staff are already working on the 2023 audits, so we're still pressing forward, trying to get done as quickly as possible. We understand time is of the essence, and that we've got a lot of things hinge on these audits.
Joe Don, I'm unclear whether our goal was the 15th of December or 31st of December.
31st.
Yeah, how do you feel about the odds of us getting that completed?
I'm afraid that we're not going to meet that we're going to be more toward the middle of January before we actually get that, the 2022 done.
Okay. I appreciate that and of course I don't understand the system. I appreciate that we're working on the next year's audit as well, but can those individuals working on that one not concentrate on this one, or does it not work that way?
Well, it's kind of one of those deals, you get too many cooks in the kitchen. You don't know what one person has done, and it slows you down. So by having two people that are very familiar with the process dedicated to working on that, I think is the best thing that we can get to get it accomplished the quickest. Because those two are in communications with one another on a daily basis to try to get it reconciled out. And if you throw a third or a fourth person in there, I think it just gets jumbled up, and people, well, we don't know what the third person did. The more people we have in there, the more communication we have to have. And if I can keep it consolidated down into these two people for this issue, and this is the last large issue that we have to close out the year, we're going to be, is the best course of action.
Are we still using outside sources?
Yes, sir, we are.
As much as possible to
Yes, sir,
get
we
this
are.
done?
We are.
All right.
I've got an outside contractor working right now. So yes, sir, we are still using outside contractors. I do anticipate using those contractors throughout till we're through the 2023 audit. Now, yeah, I know it's taking a long time to get the 22 done. I know council members are getting a lot of calls. Why is it not done? There's a lot of things that have caused it. A lot of things that we may not have done right when we did the conversion. And it's just taking time to make sure those are all balanced out correctly. As we balance things out and as we get things fixed, we are fixing them permanently. And so I do anticipate that, yes, we're going to have, it may end up being mid-January before we get the 2022, but I think we're going to have the 2023 by June.
That's kind of gotten moved down too, and that's unfortunate. I know we've got a meeting later this week, I think, and I'll look forward to getting a little deeper in that question. Council, Mr. Weaver.
Joe Don, I appreciate all the work that you and your staff are doing, but do they understand the urgency of this audit?
Everybody in my office understands the urgency of this audit, and everybody in my office understands the predicament that we're currently in.
Okay. The reason I say that is because constituents that I've spoken with have shared concerns. We spent a lot of money buying the new system that's, quote, going to be better. Not impressed because the audits are still delayed, and it seems like they've just been delays and delays and delays and delays. There's a lot in accounting. I understand that. But when it comes to reaching deadlines, there are no, I guess you could say, do they call them extensions?
Right.
We had no extensions on these audits.
No.
From what I understand, there are none. So we're operating like we have an extension when there are no extensions. Is that correct?
We are, I think the best way for it, we understand, like I said before, we understand the urgency, we understand the importance.
Yes, sir.
But there's also the importance of getting it right.
Oh, 100% agree.
And that's what we're working for. We're working to get it done. We're working to get it done correctly. There were some things, the year that we're auditing, 2022, one of the things that we have to realize is there were a lot of things that went into that year, that happened in that year. One, we switched software companies. There was the communication between the software people and the finance department, from what I understand, because that happened before me, was little to none.
Yes, sir.
Problem number one.
Yes, sir.
Problem number two is that now we're having to go back and fix all those things that were happening in problem number one. And then to make things even worse, we switched banks. We switched from IBC to Liberty. So now, not only, I say we've got 43 funds for this year. Actually, there are approximately 86 accounts that we have to reconcile, because we have to reconcile both the IBC and the Liberty and get those to match up on the date that we switched over.
Okay.
So, there were things that posted to the new system that showed that they were posted to Liberty Bank that were actually deposited in IBC Bank, and vice versa. So we're having to straighten all of that stuff out, and it is a huge undertaking. Some of our sister cities that I've talked with that have done this same transition said the transition between from one software into Munis, our current software, that's difficult enough. They had problems getting their audits done on time. And then you throw you compound that by switching banks. It just makes it worse.
Understood.
It was just a perfect storm that happened, and we're trying to correct it. We are getting it corrected. It's taken us longer than we would have liked, but we're getting it corrected. We're getting it corrected in the right way, and when we turn it over to our auditors, I fully expect to have a clean audit back.
Well, thank you for explaining that and sharing that.
Okay, I don't see any other question. Nobody's raised their flag. So, thank you, Joe Don.
And I would say, if you come up with any questions or any concerns about that, please contact me. I'll be more than happy to explain in greater detail than what I've done today.
May I make a motion to adjourn?
Hold on. Thank you, Joe Don.
You bet.
Do we have a motion for adjournment?
Yes.
We do have a motion for adjournment, and we do have a second. Please call the roll.
Harris? Chapman? Gill? Hampton? Uyghur? Johnson? Warren? Hankins?